They say when you live off the grid, you find peace. But they don't tell you that peace is a fragile thing, especially when someone with a clipboard and a God complex decides your life doesn't fit their vision of a neighborhood. I learned that the hard way. It all started with a sound, not a word, not a warning, but the crack of old wood splitting like a gunshot. I remember sprinting up the ridge, heart pounding, boots throwing dust behind me, and when I reached the top, my knees nearly buckled. The bridge was gone. The old wooden bridge my grandfather built with his own hands back in the 60s, the one that connected my ranch to the outside world, lay in pieces in the stream below, just floating there, like it never mattered. And standing right in the middle of the wreckage, walkie-talkie in hand, was her Marla Hensley, HOA president of Willow Ridge Estates, and the queen of self-righteous tyranny. "Told you, Mr. Collier," she shouted over the roaring creek. "This structure wasn't HOA approved." "HOA approved? My place sits 5 miles outside Willow Ridge. I'm not even in their zip code." But that didn't stop Marla from showing up with a demolition crew, waving a piece of paper that looked official enough to fool the sheriff's nephew, and blasting the only bridge that connected my gate to the rest of Montana. And just like that, I was stranded on my own land, with a busted ATV, a cow in labor, and no way to call for help. I slid down the slope, fists clenched, heart pounding, trying to make sense of what the hell just happened. I yelled up, "What gives you the right?" She clicked her walkie and said, "Cool as you please. You have no idea who I am. And by the time you find out, it'll be too late." Too late for what? I didn't know then, but my gut told me it was just the beginning. See, 3 weeks earlier, life was good. Quiet. I bought this land 5 years ago, 160 acres nestled in the foothills. Not flashy, but mine. I had a little ranch house, a barn, a few cattle, some chickens, and the old bridge. Most mornings I'd sip coffee on the porch, listen to the birds, feed the animals, then head into town to the welding shop I co-owned with my buddy Jake. Life was simple, honest. Folks waved when they drove by, kids rode bikes on dirt roads, and nobody told you what color your barn door should be. But then Marla Hensley moved into Willow Ridge. She showed up at my gate the first week, clipboard clutched like it was the Constitution. "No hello, no smile. You need to repaint that fence. It ruins the aesthetic of the neighborhood." I blinked. "Ma'am, this is private land. I don't live in Willow Ridge." She sniffed. "Well, it sure looks like you do from the road." I figured she was just another bored retiree with too much time and not enough sense. But then the citations started coming. Little notes taped to my mailbox. Unauthorized livestock visibility. Non-compliant irrigation structures. Outdated fencing materials. Jake laughed when I told him, "You're not even under their jurisdiction, man." That didn't stop her. Some days she'd show up with a couple of guys in neon vests, pointing and measuring. One afternoon, I caught her standing by the barn, eyeing the bridge like it was a termite-ridden shack. "We'll start with that," she muttered. I rode up on my horse. "You're trespassing." She didn't blink, just held out a paper covered in zoning codes, hand-drawn maps, and a big red X over my bridge. "Your property," she said, "is within our HOA influence zone." Influence zone. That was a new one. I told her to leave. I told her she had no claim, no say, no right. But she just said, "We'll see what the board thinks." A week later, I woke up to the sound of trucks, shouting, and wood cracking. And now, the bridge was gone. I found a yellow sign nailed to a plank. It said, "HOA structure removal order approved by owner." And right there, clear as day, was my name. My signature. Only I never signed a damn thing. I knew then this wasn't about community. This was personal. My ranch hand, Tyler, called just the none of the cows, was in trouble, stuck in the birthing pen. I ran. No bridge, no truck, just boots and adrenaline. We got to her in time. Pulled the calf out together, both of us drenched in sweat and panic. But my mind never left that bridge. Afterward, I told Tyler to dig through the last 2 months of mail. He found a pile of letters, all from Willow Ridge HOA, stuffed behind some feed catalogs. One had my name on it, crooked, sloppy, forged. It gave them permission to demolish the bridge. Another one said the land was being reviewed for public development. My land. That night, I called Monica Fields. Old friend. Grew up together. Now one of the toughest property rights attorneys in the state. She came right over. Cowboy boots, Jeep Wrangler, and all business. We laid out the papers on the kitchen table. Fake, she said, tapping the permit. Illegal. And actionable. We were gearing up to file an injunction when tires crunched on gravel. I looked out Marla again. 2 goons with her, clipboards and tool belts. Afternoon, Mr. Collier, she chirped. We're just here to re-inspect. No, you're not, Monica snapped. Unless you have a warrant, turn around. Now. One of the workers mumbled. She said it was all approved. It's not, Monica barked. And if you set foot on this property again, you'll be trespassing. They left. But I knew it wasn't over. Next morning, a neon orange envelope was taped to my door. County Land Office. Notice of eminent domain. They were trying to seize my ranch for community development. I stared at the paper. Who the hell approves a dog park 5 miles from the nearest cul-de-sac? The signature? Marla Hensley. We rushed to the county office. Talked to a clerk named Vernon. He pulled up the file and said the proposal came from Willow Ridge Estates for a recreational expansion. Monica hit the roof. You can't just steal land with fake documents. Talk to Director Hale, Vernon said. We left, steaming. When we got home, my phone lit up. Jake, Tyler, even the feed store. You selling the ranch? They asked. A listing had gone up. My land. Online. For sale. I hadn't posted a damn thing. That night, we held a town meeting in my barn. Folks from all over came. Monica showed them the fake permit, the forged letters, everything. People were stunned. One woman gasped. Another man stood up and said, We'll testify. I thought maybe we turned the tide. Then the fire happened. Middle of the night, Tyler woke me. Smoke. We raced to the west pasture. The old cattle shed was burning. Someone left a spray-painted message on the wall. This land isn't yours. Move out. We put it out ourselves. Called the sheriff. He ruled it suspicious. Next morning, Monica got a call. Someone caught a figure near the shed on a trail cam. And behind them, a white SUV. Marla's. Later that day, a young reporter named Elsie drove up. She wanted the truth. We gave her everything. 2 days later, our story hit the front page. HOA tyranny in the heartland. Marla retaliated fast. Sabotaged my business license. Filed a defamation lawsuit. Tried to bleed me dry. Then the last straw, Tyler ran in shouting. The well's dry. We opened it. Cement. Someone poured cement into the intake. I was done being quiet. That night we held another meeting. Bigger. Louder. People stood up and said, Enough. Then Monica got a message. A leak. A recording. Marla's voice in a boardroom. If the fire doesn't scare him, the lawsuit will. We'll force him out. Gasps in the room. One board member said, This is illegal. Marla laughed. Then he'll be gone. We gave that recording to the sheriff. To the press. And the next morning, she vanished. SUV gone. House empty. Disappeared like smoke. 2 days later, black vehicles rolled up my drive. U.S. Marshals. You're not just dealing with an HOA, one said. You exposed a multi-state land fraud network. Marla wasn't her real name. Clarissa Eaton. Over a dozen aliases. She'd done this in 5 states. And I was her last mistake. Weeks passed. Her empire unraveled. The fake documents were reversed. The lawsuits dropped. And folks showed up with hammers, nails, and pies. We rebuilt the bridge together. A month later, a letter came. Official. Clarissa Eaton federal plea deal. 25 years in prison. I held a barbecue. Nothing fancy. Just neighbors, music, kids running in the fields. Elsie came with her camera. One last quote, she asked. I looked at her. I didn't start this fight, but I finished it. And if my story helps one more rancher hold onto their land, then it was worth it. Later that night, I stood on the bridge, the stars above, the fields quiet. Then I saw a broken HOA sign lying near the fence line. I picked it up. Then let it go. Let the wind take it. Let the story end. If you've ever been pushed around by people who think a title gives them power over your life, tell me about it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's got a little too much HOA in their life. Because next time, it might not be a bridge they come for. It might be everything you built with your own 2 hands.